All right, today's lesson we're going to be talking about our measures of central tendency. You've been working with measures of central tendency, your mean, median, mode, and range for several years now. We're just going to do a brief review of each of these. We're going to start off with your mean. Okay, anytime I want to find the mean, another word for mean is average. All right, so we're going to see the word mean, we're going to see the word average, and what that means is they're going to give you a data set. And in that data set, I want to add up all of my numbers in the data set. Okay, so we're going to add up every single number. Okay, once we get that total number, once we add them up, get the total, we're going to divide, okay, by however many numbers are actually in that data set. So looking at this example right here, if I had if these variables, okay, if I replace them with numbers, I would add these up and divide it by 4. And that would give me my mean, or give me my average of that data set. All right, now, median, median is just another word for your middle number. I'm going to find the middle number for the median. In order for me to find the middle number, I either have to place them in order from least to greatest, or greatest to least. You can see, notice in this example, they actually have in order from greatest to least. Now you're still going to get the same median no matter which way you go. And the way I want to find the median is I'm going to cross off the biggest number, then cross off the smallest number. And I'm going to go in order. I'm going to then cross off the next biggest number, cross off the next smallest number, cross off the next biggest, next smallest, until I reach a middle number. And in this case, I only have one middle number, and that's my median of the data set. Now, for instance, you have two middle numbers. Okay, if I have a data set and I end up with two middle numbers I can't cross off, I'm going to add those two together and then divide it by 2. I'm going to find the mean of those two numbers. Mode is the number that occurs the most in a data set. And where they get you a lot is they ask questions of which central tendency changed the most. Okay, the word most, okay, and mode means which one occurred the most often in a data set. Which number do we see the most? Your last one is your range. Okay, anytime I'm working with range, I'm going to find that biggest number of the data set. Okay, in this example, okay, the biggest number of the data set minus, there's a minus, your smallest number of the data set. Okay, I'm finding the difference between what's from the biggest number to the smallest number, and they'll tell me the range that's in between those two. Okay, so that's your mean, your median, your mode, and your range. This is nothing new to you. This is just a review. All that's changing is the way that the questions are asked and the complexity of the questions. So we're going to take a look at two examples together, and you'll work the last example on your own. The first example says the table below shows the temperatures that Mark recorded each day at 4 p.m. last week. Okay, so it has the temperatures for the week, and it says what was the average temperature last week. Now remember, they could ask what was the mean temperature last week. So all I'm going to do is mean or average tells me I need to add my numbers, and then I'm going to divide by however many numbers are in this data set. So now when I add all of these numbers up, 86 plus 50 plus 50 plus 49 plus 47 plus 49 plus 53, I get a total of 384. Okay, so that's what the temperatures added all together equal 384. Doesn't mean it's 384 degrees, just means when I add these up, okay, I get a total of 384. Now to find the actual average temperature, okay, what was it averaging for that week? I need to add or count up how many days we actually added together. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So I'm going to take the number 384, which is my total, and I'm going to divide that number by 7. Okay, and for video purposes, I'm not going to go ahead and divide this out, but when I do, I get an answer of 54 and 86 hundredths. Okay, so my answer comes out to 54 and 86 hundredths. Now, this is a griddable. Okay, I need to be exact. These are the numbers we're using. If this is a griddable question, I need to make sure I'm exact on this answer. I would take it to 2 decimal spots. Or if we're asking to round, it says what was estimate the average temperature, round to the nearest whole number. Okay, I'm going to use this 8 to round to the nearest whole number, which will make it 55 degrees. So the average temperature last week was 55 degrees rounded to the nearest whole number, or to be exact, 54 and 86/100ths. Okay, so anytime I'm finding the average, finding the mean, add up all your numbers in the data set and divide by 7. Last question. It says the heights of students in a physical education class were listed in the tally chart below. It says use the tally chart to determine the range, the mean, the median, and mode of the student heights, and it also says make sure you show your work. Okay, now for video purposes I've already added all these up. I've already done the calculations. However, these are the types of questions that they're going to ask you. They may ask you, you may have to find the range, the mean, the median, and the mode for this entire data set. Okay, so what I like to do is take out the ones that I can get done quick, get them done quick. Range. Okay, if we remember, range means the biggest number minus the smallest number. Okay, so my largest height, okay, the biggest height is 60 inches. So I'm going to take that 60 and I'm going to subtract 48. When I take 60 minus 48, I get a range of 12. So the range in heights is equal to 12. My mode, okay, remember this is the one that occurs the most often, most occurring. Okay, and when I look at my tally, I'm not looking over here necessarily. Okay, not yet. I'm going to look at the tally marks and see which one occurred the most often. And right here is the height that occurred the most often. So my mode will be 53 inches. Okay, so the range is 12 inches, the mode is 53 inches. So those two are done. Now I got to find the median and I need to find the mean. So I've done this and I've done this. Okay, again, for video purposes, I've already put these in order. To find the median, remember, I need to put an order from least to greatest. Okay, now it's not just taking these numbers here, okay, 48, 49, 50, 51, all the way to 60. Okay, I'm looking at the tally marks. I have two 48s, so I need to put 48 down twice. I've got three 49s. I need to write down three 49s. Okay, I've got six 53s. I need to make sure I've got six 53s in this data set. Okay, then when you get to 59, notice I don't have a 59 in my data set. There is nothing listed here. There's no tally mark for 59. Now, remember to find these, I'm just going to start at the first number, cross it off, go to the very last number, and cross off. And we're going to continue to do that until we find that middle number. And be careful while you're doing this. Don't skip. Make sure you're crossing off in order. Okay, so now I've come to two middle numbers. I can't cross both of these off because that would leave me with no median. Alright, so I have two middle numbers. Now on this one I got lucky. Okay, whenever I have two middle numbers, when I'm trying to find the median, I'm supposed to take those two numbers and add them together. Okay, which gives me 6 and 10. I take those two numbers, so I got 106. I divide it by 2, which is 5, ends up with 53. Okay, even though they're the same, I didn't have to do this, but they were the same. So anytime I add those two numbers together and divide by 2, I'm going to get that same number. But if I have two middle numbers, add them together, divide by 2, so my median is 53 inches. Okay, so now you notice our mode is 53 inches. Now the last one we need to find is our mean. I've already gone ahead and added these up. When I add these up, all of the tally marks, now remember it's 48 plus 48 plus 49 plus 49 plus 49. You're adding up all the number of these tally marks for these heights. I come to a total of 1,692. Okay, I've added them up, I've got my total number, and now I need to divide. And when I add up or I count up these tally marks, I come to 32. So I'm going to divide these two numbers, 1,692 divided by 32. Okay, and this is going to give me my mean. Okay, now I've already done the work on this. when I divide these, I get 52 and 875 thousandths. Okay, now if it's a griddable, remember griddable, we need to round to the 2 decimal spots, so I'd be at 52 and 88 hundredths. Or if I can round to the nearest whole number, okay, I get 53 inches. So my mean is very similar to my mode and is very similar to my median. Okay, so range, we took biggest number minus the smallest number. The mode, we just found the one that occurs the most often. The median, we put them all these numbers in order from least to greatest. And remember, it's the tally marks. I got 2 48s, 3 49s, not 148, not 149. Cross them off to get your middle number. In this case, we had 2 middle numbers. We add them together and divide by 2. So I get a median of 53. To find the mean, all of these numbers, again, 2 48s, 3 49s, and so on, added together give me 1,692. I'm going to divide that number by however many tally marks I have here. This is how many students are in the class. So I divide that by 32. I get 52 and 875 thousandths. Rounded to the nearest hundredth, 2 decimal spots, 52 and 88 hundredths, or 53 inches, and that's all based on how do they want my answer. How do they want the answer choice to be in? Okay, so now that's your mean, median, mode, and range. What you're going to do for class on Monday is this last question. Okay, you're going to complete this last question for class on Monday. Make sure you're coming back to and be able to explain why you got this answer. Explain why what you got is a reasonable value. All right, thank you very much.